Yeah, the ZBA. Right.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay.
You're just early.
Yeah.
You can have a seat anywhere you like. Out in the audience there.
He's on the board.
Oh, support.
I'm Pete.
I'm Pete. I'm Hope.
I hope.
Nice to meet
Good to
you.
meet you.
Pete, what's your last name?
Skiles.
Skiles. That's a cool name.
Yeah, well, thank you.
That's unique. I like it. Let me see. Let's see. Where do you normally sit, Pete?
This is his first.
This is the,
Oh, this is your, so he won't, will he have a name?
I'll take over Dave's spot there. No,
He'll probably be,
Forever.
you could be right there in the corner.
right here.
Yeah.
That's
usually-
fine.
Or one over, because
Will he
it's,
have a nameplate?
well, I asked Mary to make one. or to-
One here, here?
Yeah,
Okay.
whether that happened or not.
And I think we met before, you're
David,
David.
Yep.
Right.
I hope to see one day.
is it behind you on there's like a cart?
Oh, okay.
And Hope, are you with the staff too?
Yes, I'm with the planning department. I'm new.
Oh,
Peter Skiles.
where'd you come from?
I came from Clewiston, Florida. Yeah, just in the
I'm
nick of
sorry.
time.
Gee,
Just in the
just
nick
out
of
of
time.
curiosity, so is that near where they're hurt? Is it really?
Yeah. Okay, so who else do I need?
So did you go to school down there?
No, actually, I'm from Michigan. We moved down there just because we were tired of winter
Yeah, sure.
and and we both, my husband and I both have family down there, so. And then we got tired of Florida and came back to Michigan. My mom is not doing well and my husband's mom, she's not doing so great either. So we're like, I think it's
Okay, it's 5:59. It's about to be 6.
Still enough time for me to say, I think Milton's gonna be a peninsula altering event.
No, Milton, Hurricane Milton, it doesn't sound like a category 5, does it?
No.
Sounds more like a category 3 or 2.
Well, it is 6 o'clock. I'll call the meeting of the Delta Township Zoning Board of Appeals to order. Rise, please join me for the best part of the meeting, the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Right. Roll call, Mr. Skiles. Here. Mr. Corey. Here. Mr. McConnell.
Present.
Mr. Arking, that's me, I'm here. Absent are Kaltenbeck, and Ms. Coscarello. Chair would entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Support. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, the agenda is adopted. Item 5 on the agenda, citizen comments for items not on the agenda. Yes, please come up, state your name and address for the record and tell us what you got.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sherry Ritchie. I live at 1206 Brookside Drive. This is my first time attending this particular committee meeting. I'm happy to be here. As I've told others, I'm sort of newly retired, but I have more time on my hands. So I thought it would be great to learn more about my local government here in Delta Township. So I just want to ask, though, I looked online today for the agenda. I couldn't find it. Maybe I went under the wrong committee name. I'm not sure. And also I can't read your name tags and I'm right there in the second row. And you didn't announce all the names when you called the roll. So just the last name. So I was at a loss. Robert McConnell, David Arking, is that right? A-R-K? And yours is even smaller, David
Corey.
Corey, C-O-R-R-I-E?
Correct.
Okay. And Peter Skiles, I could read that one because it's on silver, I guess. I don't know. All right. Thank you so much. Where can I find the minutes though next time? Or not the minutes, the agenda.
I'm looking, it should be on our website right now. So I'm looking
Okay.
to make sure that
Thanks.
that was done.
You didn't, he said he didn't find it either, so. But I might have been looking under the wrong committee
It's
or,
Dave, do you want to show it on the overhead if you can?
Yeah.
It is up there.
oh, thank you. Were these outside in the hall?
There, yeah, well, the Delta posts them on that wood plaque thing
Oh,
over
I
there by the
never
door,
noticed
so
that
that
either.
for most meetings, that's where the agendas are at.
Okay, I did not know that. Never noticed it. There's no label. Okay,
So Dave is gonna show you where to find these.
I found all the other ones for the trustees.
Yep. He'll get there.
Meeting schedule.
We got
Yep, I'm familiar with all that. 2024 agendas and
There's a separate
minutes.
page for the boards and
Yeah.
commissions.
I saw the bar for agendas and minutes. A little bit further down. Keep going, go,
No,
go,
it's under
go,
boards and commissions. It's in
go,
a
go,
different
keep
spot.
going. There, the top brown bar.
That's just for the township board, so they have a.
Oh, yeah, see, that's what threw me.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Boards and commissions, okay.
It's gonna be under here, so
Go down.
Next time we'll know.
I think you missed the agenda and packets part. It's on the left, Dave. There you go. Keep going down. Third up.
Okay,
The bottom.
all right. I think I can navigate it from here, so. There it is. All right, thank you so much for walking me through that. We'll get it next time. Thank you.
Thanks.
Nice to see you all.
I'd just like to say, glad you're here. You're welcome to join us anytime. Thank you.
And I shall.
Any other citizen comments for items not on the agenda? Hearing none, moving on. Approval of minutes from the August 13th meeting. Entertain a motion on minutes.
So moved.
Mr. Floyd, is support?
Support.
Mr. Scott, all in favor, say aye. Opposed? Hearing none, the minutes are approved. As presented. Brings us to item number 8 on the agenda. We have before us case PV 2024-0009. Dave or Pete, would you care to present the case?
I'll do that. So greetings, everybody. Peter Menser, I'm the Director of Planning and Economic Development for Delta Township. In your meeting packets, at least on page 5 of the PDF on the website, is a memo from the Delta Township Planning Department about this request. So what we are looking at tonight is a variance request from a section of the zoning ordinance related to maximum number of parking spaces. So the township regulates and requires not only a minimum number of spaces for a variety of different land uses in our zoning ordinance, but also establishes a maximum. So this request is to exceed that maximum. Well, I will call attention right now to the screen that my colleague Dave has up there right now. What you see is a phasing plan from the Delta Township, or excuse me, the Delta Crossings Development. Would you mind zooming out just a little bit to show the kind of the context? So this is a phasing plan, and for a larger context, the Planning Commission on Monday is going to hear several different requests related to this project. A rezoning for a portion of the site, 2 different special land use permits, and site plan approval, really all related to the area in blue, which is proposed for the development of an 87,000 square foot Bass Pro Shop retail store. So what has been constructed so far, at the very bottom of your screen is going to be West Saginaw Highway. And what has been done so far is phase 1 and phase 2. So Dave's got his mouse over phase 2 right now. So that's the BJ's development. There's an empty shell to the west of that. That's going to be a future site. There's some Consumers Credit Union. There's an Olive Garden up along West Saginaw. On the east side of Marketplace Drive, phase 1 consists of that shopping center. There's a Hobby Lobby and some help me out. Sierra, TJ Maxx, some other retailers. Yeah, there's a Burlington that just opened. There's a Best Buy that's, if you drive by the highway right now, you see dirt being moved and some construction equipment. There's a Best Buy that's being constructed there. It's a smaller footprint of the store that we were relocating from over by the Lansing Mall. And there's a Texas Roadhouse down closer to Saginaw Highway. So there's some retail, service, dining, developments in phase 1 and phase 2 of the project. Right now and a lot of this, I'm just kind of painting the broader picture. This isn't necessarily related to the request. Right now that's in front of us, as I noted before, is the Bass Pro. So that's highlighted in blue. Marketplace Boulevard extends north of West Saginaw. It hits that, it goes from green there to blue, so that the blue would be extended, and then we'd have the road to the east, which is identified as Bohemia Avenue, and then that would serve the Bass Pro site. Couple other ways to get, there's another way to get to that site, but that's the primary way. So as noted, the variance request really, what's being requested of you tonight is make a determination on the number of parking spaces that are proposed. So I'm going to walk you through the related ordinance provisions and how we got here. So as noted, it's about an 87,000 square foot store. It's on about 27 acres. So the Delta Township zoning ordinance requires 4 spaces per 1,000 square feet of usable space. So the differentiation there between gross square feet, the entire building versus usable will take off like mechanical areas, places where people can't go essentially. So that reduces the overall total. So the submitted plan shows of that 80,000 or 87,000, about 73,950 are usable in the building. So it shows how much, what the reduction is there. And there's that much amount of usable in the proposed Bass Pro building. And so using that 4 per 1,000 square feet usable, that formula brings us to 296 parking spaces that are required. The minimum number of parking spaces you've got to have on that site to serve this per the zoning ordinance, 296. We have another section, so not only do we establish a minimum, we also establish a maximum, and that's not unusual with zoning ordinances, more modern zoning ordinances. Ours is from 2017. And the idea being, and the stated intent in the ordinance is to limit the number, place a limitation on the number of parking spaces that's intended to limit excess amounts of impervious surface, which result in increased stormwater runoff, prevent the unwarranted conversion of green space to paved areas, and promote improved aesthetics. So the maximum threshold that's established in our zoning ordinance, it restricts the parking from exceeding the required minimum amount. So you take that minimum amount, add 30%, and that's now you have your maximum. So it restricts it from exceeding the minimum amount by more than 30%. The applicant has, so in that number ends up being 30% of 296, which is the required minimum, is 89 spaces. So the site could have an additional 89 spaces under current zoning. The applicant is providing 511. So on this site, there are 511 spaces. That's 126 more than permitted. So they're seeking a variance for those 126 additional spaces above what that maximum, the additional 30% would allow.
Peter, does this diagram show the 511?
It does. They're in the lot, and then Dave, you move in on the parking calculations on the right there. So it also, so they're in there, you could count them, but they're summarized in the table here that the engineer provided under. Yeah, down a little bit. So that has a lot of this stuff that I just went over the numbers. So there you see the calculations.
Yep, right.
Yeah, and there's 511. So the plan notes that the variance is required to exceed the maximum established there.
What about the diagram, the phase diagram, the one that was in color, does that show the parking areas accommodating 511?
I don't know. That level of detail is not on the phasing plan. The phasing plan I'm showing you just to provide some context to the development in general. So the applicant has provided, as required, for a variance application, has provided some evidence as to why they're why they're seeking this variance and providing justification for that. And I'll let them make that case for themselves. That is in your meeting packet as well. So really that is the only request tonight, is to exceed the maximum allowed parking. So our team is available here to answer any questions. The applicant's engineer is here. We have the plan. So whatever you might need from us, just let us know.
Before I call the public meeting to order, are there any questions for staff from board members? Hearing none. I would entertain a motion to call the public hearing to order for this case.
So moved.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, hearing none. Public hearing for case number 2024-0009 is now in session. Is there anybody here that would like to speak to this matter? Present the case for the applicant.
Hello, my
Please
name's
state your name and address for the record.
my name's AJ Patrick with Kebs Incorporated. I'm the civil engineer for the project. This particular user is a nationwide chain that has many different sites around the nation, and they have understand their need and demand throughout the entire year. And being holiday seasons, summer festivals, and they are a sporting goods that also does, boats and other, fishing and all that kind of stuff, and hunting. And they have events at the store that draw a lot of people, a lot of customers. They also have these, if you look at the diagram, there's 3 ponds there in the front. One of those is a display pond where they will actually have pontoons out there on the water and do events there as far as test driving boats or kayaks, canoes. They may have a fishing event or something like that. Planning for that future and knowing their history with other sites and their demand in high demand times of the years, they've come up with their own calculation on how many parking spaces they want, which is 5 per 1,000 square feet of gross floor area. So that's the number the calculation that was used to apply to get to the number that we have, the 511. And that's a specific request from the retailer for that amount of parking.
Okay, so I understand the staff provided you with the criteria by which we grant variances, and you provided a letter dated or Delta Crossing provided a letter dated 9/19 with 5 points that seem to correlate to the 5 narrative issues, circumstances that you're supposed to respond to. And I thank you for that. Beyond that, though, the applicant is also supposed to provide an answer to one of 5 additional standards. Did they equip you with those? The section B standards, section C standards. I've got it right here from you.
I see that. I'm looking at it right now. I've got it. I have to pick it out, but I thought one of these was covered in one of the answers in our narrative. I mean, I guess number 3, the plight of the applicant is due to the unique circumstances of the property and not to general conditions of the area. The unique circumstance, and so I think we covered it in there, was the particular type of use that this is. This particular destination retailer is not, it is something out of the ordinary of a regular commercial development that's covered in your ordinance. And it's not due to circumstances surrounding the property or any other uses that are in the area. It's specific to this particular user on that property. I don't know if that.
Okay. So,
And it does observe the spirit of the ordinance. It's just requesting a different calculation of the parking. I guess that would be number 4. And as far as one of the other items of this, not only being a store that uses that much parking, this is also going to be their flagship store in the state of Michigan. So it's going to be marketed and advertised as even more of a destination than the regular stores.
how many other stores are there in Michigan for this chain? Just curious, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, they purchased all of the Cabela's, so all of those have been converted, and then 6 or 7 total.
Bellas, Dundee.
Yeah, been to that one.
Mhm.
Okay, so with the 5 points in your letter of the 19th, you're proposing items 3 and 4 to satisfy the section C criteria.
Believe so.
Anything else you could add at this time?
No, I'm open for any questions.
Before I let you go, are there any questions for the applicant from board members? None, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Board members, do you want to discuss this? Anybody have any thoughts about it? Anybody want to make a motion?
Just have some comments, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, Mr. McConnell.
Yeah. The ordinance. The issue is impervious surface. And the request. Clearly. Violates that intent. I understand the rationale for needing more spaces. I understand the rationale for needing more spaces, but I don't understand how that mitigates the issue of impervious surface. And I don't know that the explanation, from my perspective, addresses that issue. Certainly the store is unique, but the property is not. And that issue still seems to be compelling to me.
Agreed. I would have liked to see some supporting documentation from the Drain Commission on this.
I would agree with that, yeah.
So here's my personal dilemma. I mean, I'd love to see the flagship Bass Pro Shop in Delta Township, but I can't reconcile myself to the fact that what I see here is a request to conform to a standard of the company, and I'm not seeing a whole lot of reasons why Delta Township needs to amend its standards to accommodate this. It would maybe if the drain commissioner was on record saying that this wasn't going to affect runoff or flooding in the creeks, that'd be one thing. Or if I had documentation from the sheriff saying this was conducive to public safety and public driving efficiency, but I don't have any of that.
Can I ask the staff a question?
Sure.
So the detention ponds, are they sized according to what they think the parking area is going to be?
They will be, yeah. So I'm not sure I see this request the same way. All of that is reviewed. So prior to issuance of site plan approval and building permit issuance, the drain office reviews this project. Our ordinance requires that we come to the zoning board of appeals before we do other land use permits, which kind of complicates things because you don't have all those answers right now. So you're looking at it ahead of time without all that. But ultimately, these guys can't build a project without the drain office approving this. My assumption is, I mean, PEBS is a firm that has done a lot of work in this area, that this project is designed that those will function as expected. So, and I personally don't think that we would be able to get a recommendation from the drain office. The project is in their hands for review, the site plan in general, but you're not going to see anything from them on this request related to parking. They're going to look at the site as a whole and say, does it function with what they have proposed, whether it's 500 spaces, 300 spaces, or 800 spaces? They won't necessarily chime in on, is this particular request appropriate?
That being the case, that doesn't let us answer whether or not the variance is contrary to the purpose of the ordinance. The purpose of the ordinance is clearly to protect against runoff irregularities, and now we just don't get to know whether that's going to happen or not. I understand this is the standard the company's used to, but it's not a standard the township is used to, and I'm not seeing evidence that I'm not seeing a strong case for why the township needs to change its standards, which were recently updated. That's my view on it. Any other comments from the board members?
Well, it's not a comment, it's just, I don't disagree with anything you said. I also would like to see this organization in our community, but
I tried to think about some common ground on this issue, and frankly, I didn't come up with one. I don't know how you, because as the request is actually almost a third larger than the ordinance provides, which is fairly significant, in my opinion, in terms of impervious surface issue.
Staff, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think if this petition was denied, they would not be allowed to come back and ask for 511 for a year?
That's correct. You cannot submit the same request again. They could come back with a lower number.
Yep.
They could redesign the site to meet the standard, the current zoning standard of 396 or whatever that number was. Really, those would be the options. Either seek a different number before 1 year's passed, wait a year, come back with the same plan, or revise the plan to meet the ordinance. So variance is not needed.
Mr. Connell, you're my resident parliamentarian. If we were to act on this later, it's not tabling the motion, it's postponing it. Which preserves their application fee, I believe.
See,
Say that
Peter
again.
frowning.
No, sorry, I shouldn't do that, but I guess what would postpone? So I think this project needs some certainty as it proceeds through the rest of the process. The challenge, we didn't draft the zoning, the zoning ordinance requires that these variances come to you first. And I think the idea being that any given applicant can proceed to the rest of the site, the rest of the development process with some certainty on their site plan. So I guess now it creates a challenge for this developer, or any other developer, to proceed through our special use permit rezoning site plan process without any certainty on how their site might be laid out. So if they were to come back to you at the end of this, having an approved site plan and then need to change it if they weren't able to get a variance, it just, to me, it provides some process challenges to the applicant when they're following, whether or not you think the request is appropriate, and that's an issue aside. That's the practical challenge I see in postponing.
Postponing it could allow them to make another case. Or strengthen this one.
Mr. Chair, I'm prepared to make a motion.
Mr. McConnell.
I move to deny the requested variance from section 11.01 to allow the number of parking spaces on the property to exceed the maximum number of allowed spaces by 126 spaces. It's subject to the following reason. The applicant has not demonstrated the variance request satisfies the review criteria established in section 15.04 B and C. Yeah, I didn't know if it was C also. B and C of the Delta Township zoning ordinance.
The chair will support that. The motion on the floor has support. This calls for a roll call vote. Mr. McConnell.
No.
Well, I think a yes vote.
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes is no, right, that's.
Mr. Arking, that's me. I vote yes. Mr. Corey.
Yes.
Mr. Skiles.
Yes.
Well, there it is, gentlemen. The motion is denied. Staff, please advise the applicant of their alternatives and any possible next steps.
Your options from here, we could redesign the site to meet the minimum, to meet the standard. You could propose another, I would not do the same request. You could propose a new request. It can't be the exact same that was denied tonight for 1 year. those are your options. I'm happy to work with you outside of this and we can figure out how you might want to proceed.
Probably close the public hearing. Motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
All in favor?
Needed a second, but it doesn't matter.
I'll be the second. That public hearing is closed. That brings us to item number 9, other business. Is there any other business before the board?
There's no other business for you tonight. As I've noted via email, it's been a couple weeks, but Supar resigned, unfortunately. She's dealing with some personal issues. She's recovering. She has another family member that's not recovering. So she's not gonna be able to attend. Kathy Talbot is unable to serve her term, which is really unfortunate. She works in state government and somehow it was flagged that her job might not be a good fit for her position here. So anecdotally, I understand she may be in, her story to tell, but she may be trying again at some point in the future. Maybe when she's not employed at the state.
I work at state government, doing that for,
They're coming for you next.
So Supar, excuse me, I don't know why I can't talk tonight. Supar served on the planning commission before
That's, yes.
and I
Thanks,
don't know-
gentlemen.
I don't know how long she served on this body. But
quite a while.
has she?
I started here in 2009 and she was on it then.
Okay. So I just would support doing something to recognize her.
Yeah, we have talked about, I certainly intend to do that. One of the challenges with our team right now is just finding the time to put that together. So we will, and she is, and I don't think she would mind. She told me directly. She was recovering from shoulder surgery. And I don't know if she was in the right place to talk about that at this moment. So I was gonna circle back with her at some point when that might be appropriate. And I'm not sure if she's gonna be able to attend. But that's, yeah, recognized and I don't, so I'm acknowledging that, but I'm just saying that I'll try to work with her to see when that might be appropriate. Otherwise, I haven't introduced Hope. Hope Wojak is in the audience tonight. Hope is she's the associate planner with our department. She's been on the team since the end of August.
Yes.
Yeah, so we're really happy to have her. So this is your planning team between Dave and I and Hope. So you may see at some point in the future, Hope, working on some cases here in front of the zoning board of appeals.
Welcome home.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Forward to working with you.
And as noted earlier, Peter is now a full-time member, so we still do have the 1 full-time and 2 alternate open positions.
Yeah, refresh my memory. How do the alternates work in this body?
They attend, ideally, they would come to many of our meetings, if not all of the meetings, and to hear the cases and learn how the procedures work. In practice, at least in my experience, the alternate members are called upon when needed. It depends on the personal preference of the person. They're not absolutely required to be in every single meeting, but it certainly works best and better if they can attend often. We as a team would send them regular just like the rest of you, we would include them in regular emails with meeting packets. We would send everything to them. We would offer them the same opportunities for training, which is forthcoming, as you all get. And in the event that we don't have a full board, that person would be expected to fill the gap and serve. So that's in a nutshell, that's how it works. I think they only get paid for the meetings that they actually attend, which I know you're not in this for the money, but.
That's my retirement income.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I'm hoping to get some people in the wings. In my experience, I've been working with these types of groups for a long time. It is really helpful because regular life happens to everybody. So to have somebody that we can call on that's ready, that's trained, that has read the source material would be invaluable to us. So one of the challenges among many of the change in the supervisor or the departure of the supervisor is that typically board, appointments to boards and commissions kind of run through that role. So there is some, some changes in the short term at the township right now. That doesn't mean, recruitment has stalled. We're still looking for people. But it's just, things are a little different at the moment, and we'll write that soon. But I mean, in terms of the process of recruitment and all that happens, if we were to get an applicant, it would proceed seamlessly through our system. There's no delays or anything because of the absence of supervisor right now.
Do we, I should know, but I don't, does the township publish the vacancy?
We do. We've done that a couple times in the last year. I think via social media outreach and just kind of word of mouth as well.
Very good. Try to shoot the bushes and get some more applicants. So that was other business. I think we may have drifted into staff comments. Are there?
No, sorry.
That's okay. Do we have any staff comments?
Not right now. I think we will have a meeting in, what is this, October, November. We have a sign request for the Ultium site down near GM. So I think they want to do a larger freestanding sign,
An additional sign.
an additional freestanding sign than they're allowed. So that'll be before you. And in November, we'll get those notices prepared and sent out and prepare a staff memo. I think that's the only new business that's on the horizon right now.
Is that at the 425 site?
Yeah, but I think the 425 agreement says that the township zoning process is used. That's all spelled out in the agreement.
Through 2029, right?
I believe so.
Something, yeah.
425 said it is.
425 is the name of a public act that is governs agreements between municipalities related to properties that are like, for lack of it. It's an agreement between two municipalities, and in this case, it's like it's typically related to utility provision.
Mm-hmm.
So in this case, from maybe not the resident's view, but that property is both in the city of Lansing and Delta Township. So they receive some city provisions, and it's often used to qualify for certain types of all kinds of things. But sorry, that's a very poor explanation, but the general concept is it's an agreement, municipal agreement to provide services to a property, and they can be crafted in any number of ways and include all kinds of different provisions.
Been a long time since we've had a zoning request there, a variance request there. When you research it and do the write-up, I could probably use some guidance on whether a decision we make is only through the end of the agreement between the two cities, or does it continue after that? I don't know.
Okay, yeah, we can find out. We may have to confer with an attorney, but we'll find out.
Okay. Any board comments?
Welcome, Peter.
Thank you.
Yeah, welcome.
Welcome, Peter. Welcome, Hope. Welcome, everybody. With that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Support?
Support. Yes.
Motion to support, support. All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.
Thank you.
Oh, so
Peter.
Yes,
Do you think
Uh,
they asked,
in my neighborhood.
I'm not sure. Yeah, absolutely. They will. I mean,